And good morning. This is the last day you'll get to see us. Well, in the morning anyway. December the 31st as we'll welcome in New Year's Eve tonight, downtown Meridian. I hope you'll join us for that big event. There'll be a lot of people there on City Hall lawn. All this gets underway around 6 p.m. We'll give you the details coming up where you can park, what you can see, what all's going to be going on coming up at 7 o'clock. It is downright cold, folks. 24 right now in Meridian with a wind chill factor of roughly 18. Eventually, we'll get, I think, somewhere around 57 today is what they say. Add a little bit of wind to that, and it's just miserable, isn't it? I bundled up everywhere I went yesterday. Burr, burr, and more burr. I'll tell you all the events. And it's been sort of the last 24 hours has been basically a mild day. You don't get to say that very often, but we did. Very, very nice. So we'll go over that, statistics, and some of the big stories coming up at the top of the hour of 2025. What do you remember from it? We'll go over a few of those. Some of those things I'd forgotten about. We'll go over that. That's all up and coming this morning at the top of the hour. Let's go to Collinsville now and get a good word for the day.
I bought my first car my first year in college. It was a 1980 Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme. It was more of a pretty car, and I was proud of it. I kept it clean inside and out, and it was nice. I hadn't had it long when one Sunday on my way to church, a deer ran out in front of me, and I hit it head on. The front of my car was now a mess. I had to have it towed into the body shop, and they fixed it up by replacing those old parts that were wrecked with new parts, and it looked as good as new. It was the same car, just with new parts to replace the old ones. In 2 Corinthians 5:17, the Apostle Paul says, "Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old is gone, the new has come." What a great verse that helps us know that when we are in Christ or when we are saved, God gives us a new life. He doesn't just fix the parts that are broken and get us looking good again. No, when we are lost, we are a total wreck. Our lives are totally broken through sin, and when we are in Christ, yes, our sins are forgiven, but we are also a new creation. All things are new. God takes our old value system, our old priorities, our old beliefs and plans that are wrecked by sin, and He gives us a new life. In this new life, sin and evil are still present, but God gives us a new perspective on those things, and we're no longer a slave to evil and sin. Charles Spurgeon once said, "I know no language. I believe there is none that can express a greater or more thorough and more radical renewal than that which is expressed in the term a new creature." As you think about beginning a new year, you might need more than a few changes in your life to make your life better. You might need a totally new life that can only be found in the person of Jesus Christ. God has promised that new life, if we will believe in Jesus and trust in Him to save us. Consider that today. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. And welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that message. My, oh my, it's still dark outside as we wait for daylight. If you're getting ready for deer hunting, we're going to give you all of those details here in just a few moments there of what to expect, best times. And if you're a fisherman, well, we got that too. As we start looking at stories this morning, silver. Now, I've never been one to buy in this, but, Lord have mercy, how many ads do you see on television these days? Anywhere you go, buy gold, buy silver, be ready. Silver is rebounding 10% from its worst day in 4 years. Now, again, I don't have a lot of that, but there's certain people that buy into that side of the stock market. Food. And I don't know how to tell you and why this happened, but it does involve fish. Tragedy strikes a family for Christmas as a mother and daughter both die from suspected food poisoning. The father is still in the hospital sick from it, and it had to do with fish, a fish-based meal over Christmas. God bless them. That's just horrible. I can't imagine. Keep that family in your prayers as they recover from that. Food poisoning, and if you've ever had anything that made you sick from food poisoning, it's rough. Now, here's something else to be aware of. Ground beef is being recalled in 6 states over possible E. coli. Whoa, boy. This comes out of, let's see, I believe it's Idaho is where this come from. Yeah, Idaho. If you get any of this, make sure to return quickly. Now, we're one of the world's worst. My wife, who does this? She'll buy something and stick it in the freezer and you forget you've ever got it. If you store food like that, make absolutely sure that that you've got that replaced. That E. coli, that's something not to play with there. So we'll be watching that carefully also. What else we got this morning that is stirring on this? Jill Biden. What has snuck up on me? I wasn't paying attention. Her ex-husband. I'm going to follow this story. When you get into the exes and this, that, and the other, Jill Biden, her ex-husband's new wife. Now, they've been married, I guess you can't call it new, since 1976 or so. So they've been married a while. She is deceased now after a call was placed for possible domestic dispute. Now, they hadn't determined the cause of death yet, but that does raise a hair, doesn't it? Oof. Oh, Jill. You know, back in her day, she was a pretty woman, and then she met Joe at some point, and I guess she left that old boy she was with. Flu, it is on the rise this winter. Now, I'm one of those, and I know a lot of you go and get your flu shot once a year. I ain't one of you. You ain't sticking me with that flu. Every time I've ever taken it, I got sick. I've often been told, oh, that's imaginary. No, I got sick those years that I took it, and I just quit doing it. It can be beneficial. I'm just not one to take that, but flu is up. They've diagnosed at least 7.5 million illnesses due to all of that. Now, on the other side of this has been proven it works. I was a little boy when I got mine. I had to do it when I started first grade. Measles shot. Who hadn't gotten that? Well, apparently South Carolina is where you don't get it. They've got 20 new cases of measles in the last week alone. Getting serious there. There is, what do they call the group? Non-vaxxers. There's a lot of people that just don't want to take it, period. Now, you couldn't force me into another COVID shot if you were to chase me. And I can't run very fast anymore. But I don't want any more of that. But when it comes to things like this that are tried and true, take them. It's best for you. Measles is nothing to get there. What do you do about this when you call the authorities and they do nothing? Now, I mean, I'm dead serious when I say they do nothing. As we go to California, and I feel for this guy. I don't know what you'd do, especially if you had small children. I take it he doesn't. But in November, he called the Department of Wildlife and said, there's a bear under my house. Well, they showed up and looked and done nothing. He still has the bear under his house. They will not let him do anything to draw it out, as in throw a piece of meat out. He's broken the gas line. He's 500 pounds living under his house. Now, in Mississippi, it would most likely be handled a little bit different way, and we all know what I'm talking about. It doesn't matter what the wildlife would tell you at that point. I ain't letting no 500-pound bear live underneath my house. This has been going on and on and on. When will they do something? I don't know. As part of this, it started there just before Thanksgiving. He's a 63-year-old there. And he's threatening to sue them if they don't do something. But think about that. If you had somebody small and he sees, you know how they can attack without warning? That's the news there out of California this morning. Now, there is so much to talk about. And we spent probably 5 or 6 minutes yesterday morning talking about the money that is in Minnesota, Somalia, all these daycares. Well, as we would learn later yesterday, all money has been frozen to child care programs in the state. It's something that has gone wrong there. Is it fraud? An investigation has been launched. But more and more, we just nationwide, from the ground up, this stuff needs to be rethought. What started as a very, very good cause of somebody that was down and out on work, who needed just a little bit of help till they got a job, has turned into supporting families and, well, people that aren't even American citizens. It's way out of hand. And I've quoted this before. Have you ever watched the movie Cinderella Man? It had Russell Crowe. You remember him from The Gladiator? He was a boxer when the panic of what was in 1929 hit. He lost everything he had. He was a proud man. And in the end, to keep his family fed, he had to go on welfare. And at the end of it, when he got back on his feet, he went back and repaid everything that was given to him. We've somewhere lost our sight on being proud. We have. To where it's free, I'll do whatever. To where people don't want to work for their own or be proud of the work that they've done. And I don't know how to fix it. I wish I had an answer that I could tell you. Is there an answer? There may not be. We may be too far gone. Rome comes to mind. What else is happening this morning? Kentucky. I can smell the lawyers circling this. It's like a bunch of buzzards over the top of it. They're circling, and if you're a lawyer, I'm sorry I upset you. But it's true, as we've had a train wreck there, a 31-car massive derailment. Chemicals involved in a small little town. Todd County is where it happened in Kentucky. Y'all remember, I'm trying to remember what town that was in where we had that train derailment and they tried to hide it, and major lawsuit there over all that. Let's see what else we've got this. Oh, here you go. I have never understood this. The governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer, she's the governor of Michigan, nowhere else. Why does she have to travel to, other countries? I don't get that. It looks as though you would have a representative. Anyway, we look at money, $1 million of taxpayers spent on travel to foreign countries. United Arab, United Kingdom and Ireland, Australia, and Japan. Spent the most in the United Kingdom, $200,000. Why? Not like they're fixing to come build a British factory next door to Minnesota. At least I don't think so. I don't know. That's a lot of taxpayer money. People need to be held accountable for the way they spend your money. Gets under my skin, as you can tell. I don't know what a Bitcoin ATM is because, I don't use Bitcoin. I honestly, in my life, if you're lucky, if you're married and you manage to make it to Friday and still have somewhere between $17 to $20 in your pocket, you've done good in America. But I've never used a Bitcoin ATM. Well, they're saying there's scams everywhere with this, and somewhere around $333 million was lost to scams in those ATMs that house the Bitcoin. State-sponsored vacation, Austin said. So that's about right. What else do we have this morning? Do you remember, and as we'll get into some of these top stories of 2025, do y'all remember the girl? She was transgender, where she went into the school, to a convent Christian school, and shot the place up. What you didn't know, they hid the documents. She was after a specific group. And it was hidden deep into the Biden documents. She was targeting white children, period. That was him or her, I don't know what she was. She was transgender, of what they call it. My, oh my. We've got another distillery that is going under, that is filing for bankruptcy. As they didn't file for that at Jim Beam, but they sure put things on hold for a little while. But out of Ohio, Scott Distillery is filing bankruptcy. And again, we went over those numbers earlier in the week to where it was showing that less people are drinking right now. Trying to stay warm is what they're doing. We've got a Texas man that is in jail right now. He was attempting to support ISIS. He's headed to trial for what he was doing. It just makes no sense. I don't know why anybody would want to do harm. And every now and then you have to do a that-a-boy. We go to a fire department. Where was this at? The name of the fire department is Goodyear Fire Department. I could be wrong in saying this is California, but let me show you this. How many of you got a puppy dog that are watching? It's probably a good bit that love them puppy dogs. Look at this. This little fella got caught. They saved him. He's thinking, how'd I get here? How'd I get here? And then as we look at the next picture, the fireman got him out. So he was a happy camper in the end there. But congratulations to them for getting that little fella out. That's making national headline news this morning. I'm glad that is, yeah. Shocking as we see that is it almost like I hate to even say this word out loud, is it a curse? The Kennedy family She was in her 30s. If y'all 35, JFK's granddaughter has passed away from cancer. It is constantly something with the Kennedys that go wrong. Condolences to them. She leaves behind a husband and 2 small children. Now, I'm sure he'll get help, but that doesn't replace the loss of a loved one, does it? And again, this year, as we bring in a new year from Christmas to New Year's, it's a sad time for a lot of people. You reflect on ones that you love that you've lost. Y'all be careful out there. This is going to make some people mad. I can hear them jumping up, down, rolling around, kicking and screaming over this one. A judge has ruled that basic Medicaid data can be used by ICE. That's going to get them bent out of shape. And it should be. All these that work together. Quit wasting taxpayer money. They're saying, you ever heard the saying, say it ain't so? Well, that's what they're trying to claim here as we go to Houston, Texas. After 3 bodies were pulled from Houston's bayous, they're going, this is not anything to do with serial killer. Don't even think about that. Now, of course, it hadn't been proved, but it sure was odd. 3 people. Houston. When was the last time you went to Houston? Yeah, you better put duct tape over your locks. I was with a guy that stopped, went into a restaurant, come back out, and they were so clean, couldn't tell his truck had even been broken into. They have found 3 hikers in South Carolina, all 3 dead. They're waiting to recover bodies due to the weather. My, oh my. Now, again, I don't know a whole lot about football anymore because I refuse to watch the NFL. They don't seem to share my American values. Like halftime at Super Bowl in a language that you can understand. Placing your heart and your hat over when the American flag is raised and when the national anthem. Yeah, I have problems with that. Some of you may not, but I do. Patriot Star. We've got a sheriff in here with us, and his daddy texted me a while ago. First impression, that's what it said. First impressions are everything. NFL, you may be a great athlete, but you are definitely. You remember back in the day when people looked up to people that were in the spotlight and they were good examples? You can't say that anymore. Not to say this guy, he's facing it, doesn't mean he's guilty, but a Patriot Star receiver, and if I'm pronouncing his name right, Stephon Diggs, he's facing strangulation and assault charges with his cook, lady that cooked for him. I guess it didn't taste good. He's been out of shape over that. But really, somewhere along the way, and I hate to keep taking that right-hand turn off of where we're going with headlines this morning, but there was a time and place to where it wasn't shown you weren't the face of a company unless you were really a company, a ball team, a movie star, unless you were it on a stick and you walked the line. You didn't do bad things behind, or at least they weren't told. But boy, we've sure gotten away from the good guy image in America, haven't we? 16 and pregnant movies may be a part of the problem with this. That's just small thoughts from somebody from Mississippi. They have seized dozens of motorcycles that are believed to belong to Ron Wedding. You remember the snowboard guy that was in the Olympics that turned out to be, he was a drug lord? Oh, yeah, back on that same subject of being a good person. My, oh, my. We got so much more to talk about. We're going to get into your weather next. Y'all don't rush off. We'll be right back in a moment.
Hey, Ben, did you approve this?
What? Tax credit match, double your savings. Who did this? Where did this come from?
Ben, I really love the new promo.
Come with me. Hey. Who do you think you are? Oh, Annie, it's you. Where did this all go out to?
Our whole service area.
As the seasons change, so do your clothes, and Garrett Sports Center on 8th Street has exactly what you need. Habo shirts, long and short sleeve, also Hulk shirts, and America's favorite brand, Carhartt. Whether you need work pants or slacks for church, and nothing lasts like a pair of Carhartt overalls. Maybe it's a set of boots that you need to keep you dry in those wet conditions. And as hunting season rolls in, they have all the camouflage you need and toboggans to boot. Garrett Sports Center, 3505 8th Street, Meridian.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA.
Welcome, Nita. Watching us all the way there from Florida. Palm Harbor, Florida. That's a good ways off. Good morning to you there. As we look at our forecast for today, we go back for those record highs and record lows. Anybody remember 1984? It was warm that year. 80. 1917. Ain't none of us around for that one. 11 degrees back in 1917. Now, today is looking better as we see that. Look at this map. We're seeing 57 in Meridian. Stay basically the same thing through Philadelphia and up through Louisville at about 56, all the way past Columbus Air Force Base. We'll still hover at around 52 at the state line. Down the river we go, reaching 60 at Natchez, but cooler down around Gulfport, somewhere around 56 today. Tonight's low, not near as bad, 33, as we're sitting right now, 24. Anybody's teeth chattering? Yeah, I feel it from here. 18 on that wind chill factor this morning. We'll see 34 tonight in Philadelphia. We'll see the same there as you roll up to about 33 through Louisville as you go through Winston County and go on up past Columbus Air Force Base. We'll see freezing there at the state line. Down to Natchez, 37. Gulfport tonight, we'll see 41. What's happening in Alabama today? 56 in Demopolis. We'll go all the way over to Auburn. It's 50 there today. Down near the coast, we'll start seeing 50s. Over in Gadsden and Birmingham, somewhere around 51 is what we'll see for the thermometer today. As we glance across this, look this to our west. Texas, and that's a lot of ground to cover, is warm, and it's making its way toward Mississippi, which means we're going to go from 24 degrees to probably 70. Oh, here it is. 57 for a high today, down to 34 as you bring in the new year tonight. After the stroke of midnight, as we roll into January 1st, 64 for a high. We'll reach 67 on Friday. Look at this over the weekend, 65, 64. We're tapping 70 by Monday, and we're in the 20s now. Something just don't sound right, does it? I agree with everybody on that. And off to the doctor you go to get a shot. There's a connection. As we get to the 7th, it looks like it'll be 70. On Elvis's birthday, it looks like it'll be 67. You thought I'd forgot, didn't you? Cannot forget a national holiday like that. They just forgot to tell everybody. All the way through the 14th of January, about mid-month, we'll see 50s. They ain't nothing that just says it's wintertime, is it? I hadn't seen it. This is as close as we've gotten so far. As we go out to dig up those Daiwa reels, what do we get this morning? We go to Parker's Wholesale for fishing. Now, your major times, first off, your wind's going to be 5 to 10. As we look at major times to fish today, between 8 and 10 is the best you'll have. A minor time this afternoon between 1 and 3 if you're going out. Sunrise rolls in at 6:55 you deer hunters, and let's go back and look at this. It looks like another average day of hunting. We're getting ready to roll into, what is that? Oh, yeah, the rut is starting to break loose. Perfect times to fish, to hunt today, 7:06 to 9:06. You'll have a minor time this afternoon between 12:49 and 1:49, so make the best of it. You got, 31 days left? Hunt, more hunt. Sunrise, 6:55. Sunset, we're getting a couple of minutes later in the day. We're up to 4:59 before it shuts down that daylight there. Let's go over to live radar now and take a look at what we've got stirring this morning. Let's see here. Wasn't set up, was I? Let's get back to radar. We went over a lot of stories here. As we pull up Doc's Toyota radar all the way on the Gulf Coast, around Biloxi, we still got that cold weather advisory. They should have put one out for us. Pipes can freeze in this kind of weather. As we look at this up near Tupelo this morning, we're looking at 24 as well. As we see this up around Lewisburg, over here in Eudora, about 27. Vicksburg, over in Edwards County, around 25. Let's look at Jackson. What's going on in that area there? Jackson holding steady warmer at 31 this morning. Philadelphia at 27. Tuscaloosa, somewhere around 24. Mobile, nice, and 28. So it gives you an outlook. No rain or anything going on in the state. We got to back out to show you all of this. Let's just look where it is. If you want to get into the snow, Charleston, look at that. A bunch there as we get into West Virginia. Pittsburgh. I know a lot of you watch from the Pittsburgh area. It's a lot of snow in there. Cleveland, Ohio, Youngstown, all those areas. Be careful. I've driven those roads. They're narrow, and just be careful is all I'm going to say about that. Snow makes it slippery in those areas there. Mississippi weather, 20 in the morning, 90 in the afternoon. I have to agree with that. Nina, you about nailed that one there. Warm up your cars before you head out. We'll be back in a few moments as we'll kick into the final show of 2025. It is so shockingly to say that. We got coffee brewing. We ain't got any biscuits, but we do have coffee. Somebody ain't a cook in this group.
They should. Odie should make something.
Odie, where were you? He's so involved in.
Mine.
You ate yours, didn't share, huh?
Yeah, it was the last one that came in.
Special guest coming up this morning also. We got all that and so much more at the top of the hour. Join us as we'll be back in just a few moments to kick off, well, the end of the year.